remaining on 28 points. The Sea Eagles and the Eels have 26 points. The Panthers have 22, and the Broncos complete the top 8 on 21 points. Sharks and West are the closest chasers on 20 points. Warriors and Knights come next before the Cowboys, Dragons and Bulldogs are all on 16, and then there's a 6-point gap to the Titans at the bottom. That's it for other results then. We didn't get anything on the community games this week, which is a shame. So hopefully some people will get to some... Because it's kind of like starting to be final season around the leagues in that level, isn't it? So hopefully some people will get some views in on some games next week. But for now...
I'm sure Dave Cantrell will.
I hope so. He doesn't let us down regularly, does he? So
no.
He might be at cricket, though.
I was going to say, I think he was at cricket last weekend, wasn't he?
Yeah. Okay, we're now going to make our predictions for round 26 of the Super League. Right, Super League round 26 then this week, and it starts on Thursday night with a Sky game, 7:45pm kickoff for the Leeds Rhinos versus St Helens. Now, it's the week before Wembley.
I know, I've just suddenly realised that.
Saints have been juggling their squad a little bit to manage injury situations and that sort of stuff, and Leeds have found some form. It makes this one harder to pick than it would have done if it was a few weeks ago. I still find it difficult to tip against St Helens at this side because it seems whoever they bring into the side still performs. And those players that are fringe players know that if they put in a good enough performance, those players like Coote and Knowles and people like that who aren't necessarily 100%, they could edge ahead of those in the Wembley selection reckoning if they play so well. So I'm going to go Saints by 8 still. I can't tip against them, but I think it's going to be a good watch. What about you?
I've actually gone for a much bigger spread than that. I've gone for Saints by 16.
I mean,
although that was before I had quite realised that it was the week before Wembley.
It's based on form, though, isn't it? Long term rather than short term. It's not. I think we're both thinking along the same lines, aren't we? Really, Saints will win. We think. Friday 7:45pm kickoff, also on Sky. It's Wigan versus Warrington, a game that you'll be watching keenly as a Hull FC fan in those playoff spot reckonings. So, what do you think will happen here?
Well, despite the fact that, Sky and everyone else seem to have forgotten Hull exist, that's fine. But I do think
Well, you
Wigan...
were on the other week and you didn't bother to put the screen on for us.
No. I mean, both Thursday and Friday, all we heard was Wigan are chasing Warrington.
Okay.
I think Wigan are going to beat Warrington because I think Warrington are a bit rubbish. And I think that they might be thinking about Wembley. So I'm going with Wigan 24, Warrington 16.
Yeah, I think Warrington's injury situation seems a little bit different to Wigan's. They're going to have some players from last week that they might not want to play this week to protect them if they've picked up recent knocks. And they've also, it seems like some of the players that have got their injuries, and again, came around recently, people like Austin only 2 weeks ago, doesn't seem like they're going to be right, so they don't want to risk these players. And I don't think their players below that level are as good as what Saints players have shown this year. It all leads me to think that Wigan will continue a decent run of form. I'm going to go Wigan by 6. I don't think we'll win big, but I'm confident that we will edge a win. We need a win against one of the top sides. We beat you guys the other week. If we can beat Warrington now, that will make all the Wigan fans feel that our optimism that has developed in the last 2 months is justified, because until we beat the teams above us in the table, I don't feel like we can be too cocky, even though we are reigning champions. Another Sky game, Sarah, Saturday at 5 o'clock, Catalans versus London. Another intriguing one, because we've got one team on the downward spiral and we've got one team who desperately need this win to have any chance of staying in Super League. And let's not forget, arguably London's best display of the season was away in Catalan earlier this year. So I'm struggling on. I'm going to let you go first on this one. I'm a little bit on the offence. I've really struggled with this one. I initially went for
Catalan 18, London 24, and then I thought, can I really see London getting 24 points? And I'm not sure I can at the minute, so I've changed it to a Catalans win. So I've gone 18-12 to Catalans.
I think Catalans have to react at some point. They've got too many good players, and they don't want to just see the season descend into a farce and end with them all embarrassing themselves, which is kind of what they're in danger of doing. And I think another loss at home to London would cement that situation for them. 2-point win by Catalan, a narrow, scratchy, not entertaining to watch win, I think, is what I'm expecting in this one. Also Saturday at 5:00. Finally, you get to have the Saturday game that we tried to have a couple of weeks ago, Sarah.
Yep.
Hull FC hosts Salford in another top 5 battle. Hugely exciting.
Yeah, I've gone for Hull to edge it, but not by much because our home form's fairly shocking. So I've gone 28-20.
Am I right that Salford came to your place and put on a bit of a show last time?
Possibly.
I can't remember. I think Salford had a good win against you earlier this season, but maybe I'm misremembering that. But I don't know. I just think you guys are finding ways to score points. Salford are a good side, but they're not a top defence. They're not a top...
Oh, actually, yes, because Pillais kept getting sin-bin towards the end of the Salford match, and they suddenly came back from nowhere.
Yes,
you're right.
Yeah, it was a high-scoring game, wasn't it?
Yeah, Rob Louis, though, was instrumental for them, and obviously he isn't there now.
That's true, that's true.
But Lola here is obviously doing well.
I just think you can... Salford can score points, but they're not as good a defensive side as the top 3 or 4 sides, and I think that's where it's going to come undone here for them. I just think you'll be able to score more points because you've been pretty good at scoring against someone that isn't Wigan, Saints and Warrington. So Hull FC by 10 I'm going to go with.
Okay.
And hopefully an entertaining high scoring one for you. Sunday, you've got 2 Sunday fixtures. First of which we'll talk about is Hull Kingston Rovers against... Why have I done it this way round? That's not right alphabetically, is it? But anyway, that's what I've written. Sunday at 3 p.m, Hull Kingston Rovers versus Wakefield.
I can see this being a really dire match, but I've gone for Rovers 22-16.
Yeah, like Wakefield will obviously hope that some of the signings they've made... Chris Green will be allowed to play this week, for example. Some of the signings they've made will strengthen them, they would hope, but Hull KR will bring back Danny Maguire, I'm sure. He'll have an instrumental last 15 minutes and they'll win the game by 1 or 2 points. I'm going Hull KR in a very close one. And I think that's going to be the pattern until they're safe.
Yeah.
Get Danny out for the home games and see if he can do something decisive at the end. The final game that we'll talk about then is Huddersfield versus Castleford. I can't see anything other than a decent Castleford win by 2 or 3 scores. I've got Cass by 16. I just think I can't tip Huddersfield until Huddersfield work out who they should be playing where.
Yeah, I've gone for Castleford by 6 actually, so I've not gone by as many as you. I've obviously been listening to more of Rob's words than you have.
It looks like we're both the same on all the games this weekend, though, so we'll see if that bears out. In the Championship, game of the week we picked out is York versus Featherstone. Now, with York losing badly at Toronto, this becomes into sharper focus maybe for them, but you'd think once one of these 2 teams wins this game, that's their playoff place secured, and the other one maybe still has Sheffield as a threat, but probably might have enough in the remaining games. But I think it'll be an interesting one. York at home. No, I'm going to go Featherstone. I think Featherstone will win this one.
Yeah, you see, my first thought was York, but then they have got the turnaround of getting back from Toronto, haven't they?
Yeah,
so...
and Fev seem to keep finding ways of signing more and more players, no matter when the deadline has happened or not.
So, at the risk of just agreeing with you, I am just going to agree with you.
Fair enough. Let's talk about League One game of the week. It's another one between 2 playoff teams looking for cementing the highest place possible that they can. Oldham are chasing top spot. Doncaster, if they win this week, will secure their playoff places. This is where I think we're going to go different, because I'm going to go Oldham.
Doncaster.
There you go. That's with your Hull FC friends in that Doncaster setup.
It is, yeah.
In the Women's Super League, interesting game of the week there on Saturday afternoon, actually. So a standalone fixture on Saturday. I think it's about 1 or half one kickoff. So if you are in the Leeds area, get down to Leeds versus Castleford, because if the Challenge Cup final was anything to go by, then you're going to be entertained by a close battle in this one. It's hard to pick anyone other than Castleford, though, this season, even though last time we both talked about picking Castleford, they let us down.
Yep. I'm going to go for Castleford.
Yeah. We're back on form, back doing it together, Sarah. I'm going with Castleford as well. NRL Brit picks. Friday at 9 o'clock, it's the Titans versus the Eels. Let's see if Callum Watkins can finally get a win in a Titans jersey. Friday 10:55 a.m. it's the Broncos versus the Panthers. Hopefully Herbie Farnsworth might get a look in, but we're not expecting him to, if we're honest. Saturday 8:30 a.m. it's the Storm versus the Raiders. See if the irrepressible Storm can be brought to a halt by our British boys in that Raiders side. Saturday at 10:35 a.m. it's the Rabbitohs versus the Bulldogs. See how many Burgesses can front up in that one. At most it'll be 2, won't it? So I think it'll be only 1 though. Sunday 5 a.m. Roosters versus the Warriors. Ryan Hall, maybe. And then Sunday 7:05 Sharks versus the Dragons. See if Graham and Widdop can keep up their recent impressive form as the Dragons try to chase down the playoff spots. Make sure any of those games that you do follow along, either in person or on television or on the radio or what have you get your views into us so we can talk about those on next week's show. But that is all of the rugby chat. Let's move on to the quiz.
Okay, so the quiz this week is it's a who's older quiz.
Ooh, it's ages since we've done one of these.
Yeah.
Good call. I like it.
So this is people who've got birthdays this week.
Okay.
So your starter is Tom Johnston, who turns 24 tomorrow. Arthur Romano, is he older or younger?
Ooh, Arthur Romano. I'm going to go he is younger. I'm going to guess that he is 22.
You are exactly right.
1 for 1.
Okay, your next one surprised me actually, but it's probably quite easy. Jai Hitchcock.
So am I older or younger than Tom Briscoe?
Yeah.
Than Tom Johnston?
No, than Arthur Romano.
Oh, I think older than Arthur Romano. I guess it. I think he's actually probably closer to 30, so I'd be going like maybe 29.
He's actually 30.
Ah, well there you go. Yeah.
So 2 from 2. And then your final one then is Sam Mower. Is he older or younger than Jai Hitchcock?
I mean, he looks older, but he's looked mid-30s for 10 years. So I don't know how much that tells me. We could be dealing.
He might be 45.
Well, I was going to say we could be dealing with a Stanley Jean situation.
Yep.
I'm going to go older, and I'm going to guess that he's turning 33.
You are bang on again.
Oh, do you know? And that worries me because he looks older than we are, surely. Like, does Rugby League just really age players once they get over 30 that they suddenly look a lot older?
Must do. And they're not even watching it. Like, that is the stressful bit.
There's no way he's younger than we are, Sarah. I'm not buying it at all.
No. Totally agree.
Fair enough. I've been thinking all day, do I have a recommendation? And at the moment, I'm in that little situation where I'm started lots of stuff, like new TV stuff, kind of been buying some stuff but not got used to what it's like yet. Got a new book last week. Actually, I got the Coventry Bears book arrived that day. Our friend Dave Musson wrote, but I've not had a chance to read that yet. So I don't really have anything to bring to the table in recommendations. So I'm hoping from your recent trip to